out even during their Challengers days. That's where it worked out. On maps where you don't need to play the Jet, you'll see Spike playing, figuring out between the Yoru or also the Neon, and he's going to play the Yoru. It worked out well here for the side of 2G, as I mentioned in the past. They lost 11-13 at the Tishinga event against Crew, but it still brings up a lot of big numbers. They haven't found great results going into the stage 1 or just in general on the VCT stage on this map. So hopefully this is going to be the thing that turns it around here for 2G. That said though, with that comp before, when they were playing quite well with this composition, Prize was actually playing the Cypher, but they're still giving that responsibility over to Gobera. Prize, they need somebody to take over Zap's role as the initiator, so they'll play that. The side of G2 though, something fairly new. Trent coming out here with a Fade instead of playing like a Silva around this Viper comp that G2 likes to play in the past, so maybe it's a way here to try to snuff out where Silence and Spike to be going towards here, trying to find information, but trying to play the long game with the two Prowlers and the Haunt.
Yeah, I do favor the Haunt a lot, especially with the places people are finding to put it, how you can manage it, how kind of sees down a little bit more than the high darts as you throw them. So we'll see what kind of Haunts Trent has up his sleeve. Probably just the normal ones, but it'll be cool.
And actually, small correction as well. They've been pulling out here this this Trent on Fade since Masters Toronto. When Teo actually did get the nerf here going into G2's comp. That said, though, nothing really changes for this matchup between G2 and 2G. The Brazilian team still falling behind by one map and looking. Love that spray. That's actually quite nice. That's what they're aiming for. Trying to make it here to champs will be a great check mark here for the side of the Brazilian team.
Mentioned that a little bit before. Even this win as well against the other Ascension team would boost their mental so much. The team that's taken the last two Americas finals, be able to carry that for the rest of the season and start G2 or 2G off just right as G2 now fly right into that defensive position on either side of B. Oh, a few kills to come in here under the silence of that smoke, under a paranoia as it happened. Now they're trying to break the BC link, but Baby Bay is going to be there to lock it down first. Pop flash down and up through the smoke as they just continue to get the kills across the board on 2G. They had the setup here, you can see, with the shock darts with a bit of the spray out, but they didn't have enough control of the site, and they do not have control of the round. Fallon with 3, and that's a defuse for G2.
Big retake, but look at the HP remaining for those players. It was almost doable in that chaos there for 2G. Baby Bay getting into the fuse here, trying to get closer to the ult on the side of Vice. And when you look at it, you still have to commend the amount of practice that has to come through for the latest player for this side of G2. Having to play Chamber on certain maps. Viper on load is going now into...
Get ready. Ready? Ready?
Going out into the Vice now.
Oh my god.
A little bit of an OD there to the Chinese teams.
Yep. That's funny. Coming out of the first series, Baby Bay talked about the camaraderie, the brotherhood that he saw with these guys, and you know how he wishes he could be a part of it. And he is right now, you know, reminiscing that when he was playing with FaZe and that was the way. So it must be awesome to have this team to play with here as Jonah Peace starts him off with his stinger, and there's Baby Bay right behind him to help too.
And that's the thing, he wants to elevate the game of G2 in terms of what they can bring outside of the game. Hype each other up, be more vocal. If anything though, the crowd's definitely vocal around Jonah P with these eco kills.
One enemy remaining.
Whoopsies. Just caught him right there as he turned around. Looked more like timing than anything. But it might have been that attempt that we saw. And they'll grab a second round for G2 here from that defensive side. And great push towards Garage to hold that from their defense. Was really able to shut down 2G. So what do they do here? Is it going to be playing every prong of the map? Or are they going to try to play one side of the map to start? It'd be very interesting to see how they get around this G2 defense.
Start in their rifle round for 2G. You're right, a little bit of a slow default looking at different angles. The wall here with a right click just to give a chance to get a free orb. That means you're not going to fully commit into the C site. It'll be even harder for you to scale up on that side because you don't have that wall to work with anymore. So G2 starting to realize that. So Joggamo's pushing all the way up. has full map control, and they've also pushed on the side of the A for G2. Great information gathered.
Yeah, like you said, 2G defaulted, but it seemed like G2 was just like, all right, keep pressing W. We'll keep pushing. Valen went all the way through. He's back towards sewers, but the Stingers just give them so much confidence in those tight spots.
And it makes sense. You got to close the gap. You're on a bonus round here for G2. You're playing Stingers in your hands, so you want to make sure they get the maximum value out of the bullets. That said, though, just trying to bait utility. You still have great stall on the side here of G2. This hit's coming towards the A site. Razor Vines to slow things down. You could give yourself a sight smoke and still play close range with your Stingers.
This has pretty much been telegraphed with where G2's positioned on the map. I mean, already Jogamo's been able to teleport towards spawn. He was watching a trip at long C the whole time, so he's giving the team the info. Not mid, not C. And now they have those 3 towards A ready for 2G. Spike's going to be able to drop one, though. Trent goes down. Spike continues through the site towards that right side with silence, and they're able to get a kill. Jonah P slows it for a moment before he goes down to the trade of Gobera. And now the 3v2, or 2v3, I should say, as they enter back in. There's one quick one from Jogamo, getting the Stinger close, getting that Stinger power. Now Baby Bay, does he have wings? Can he fly out of here and get the kills that he needs?
Nope, he'll take the stairs.
He's going to take the stairs.
No wings.
That's fine. Not this time.
Damage would be good, though, so he'll stay around the map, try to fight this against the last 2 players of 2G. If anything, die to Spike. It's either or.
Yeah. Die to Spike, but not an alt orb.
The thing that's good, at least now, for the side of 2G is, again, just making sure that they really work that map around before they actually go for the side exec.
Oh, he's going. He's chasing. He smells him.
Because you talked about Jogamo pushing and taping out towards that spawn and saying, look, there's no information around here. But when you looked at the position how G2 played, Baby Bay stayed anchored up towards that B site because that wall was bait in the first place. And because you're also playing a Viper wall on the defensive side that kind of slices down all the way down towards window, they still have a lack of information of where 2G, if it's be late hitting towards this B site. So they didn't have a full stack towards A. Give a chance here for 2G to really scrim into that A site and overpower here their opponents. And great heads-up play, too, because Jogamo TP'd across 2 tripwires, and it's still being watched towards that sewers. Despite the loss of that fight, they still knew that the fight was coming here from Jaw.
Whoa, they give no respect once again to that sewers play. Instantly to the extremities here. And they still have a look down long C, so they know there's no activation again. Like you said, just B is that worry. And they don't feel like it's a worry at all with the way they close in on it on the side of G2. Silence doing so much work last round and this round here to start to capitalize. Spike as well picks another one up onto Valen as they start to just shred the numbers on the side of G2 here. Buddy system through garage. They do have that B control, but you see how careful 2G's moving.
Yeah. It's going to have to be a retake play on the side of G2. Ooh. Although Jonah just got spotted.
Spike planted.
I love the amount of attempts. The fights we're seeing here. Just a solo flash there to try to take one down. He might lose his life for these fights now as he's just drawing a little too much attention, but good damage onto Trent. Could get him. Hey, yeah, Baby Bay's bought enough time to come around the outside. There it is, the cleanup as they are just working their way and closing in on the 2G members. Defuse here as Baby Bay gets it to half to trade it off.
It's still a nice little setup how they set things here with this wall from Jonah P at the very beginning, because sometimes they usually just place it so that it comes across here all the way in the front of window. This time it cuts all the way inside. It's kind of like they wanted to funnel 2G into the choke point of the A side.
Yep.
And then they had the perfect players and the perfect numbers in there to really snuff out those players trying to take control of long A for the side of 2G. So very nicely done. A little bit of variation that we don't really see from the Viper walls in the first place.
Okay.
We're bringing back the Nene from 2013.
This guy. It probably feels like yesterday for him.
Yeah, and there you see the default wall that I was trying to mention here. So it allows for you to retake a little bit easier towards that C site, but previously it was really designed on the aggression that G2 wanted to bring towards this A site.
Jogamo operator, like you said, moving, actually pushing very far up.
Time to jump.
Gets the jump out. This is the first time we've actually seen G2 be comfortable with giving up kind of C long, and they're just playing it back with that wall, as you mentioned before, making it difficult to pass through these quadrants. now created by all the utility, needing util themselves to get through. That was almost telegraphed. Valen's like, thank you very much.
That's why they wanted to give up a little bit of B. Breaking over that wall gives a chance for Valen to get a pick, escape, and if they try to move up on a split, then at least flash Razor Vine to slow things down. 2G now regrouping to try to work towards this A site, forcing a little bit of util out on the defensive end, so there's not too much left. Joggernaut only has this flash with the op, which then now gives a chance for 2G to maybe stay as a group. Not until that happens.
They're still so comfortable. They have 2 over towards that site. Vice util still on A if Joggernaut did get anything, but the fight's here at B. They're just cleaning up 2G with answers across the map if it wasn't to be at B. So yeah, G2, great macro, great micro right here. And what is the window 2G can find at this point, right?
Well, again, I was just thinking of using that and wasting that util from G2 could be a death ball and try to go for the contact play here towards that B site, but instead we TP in. And not only did we TP in, that was a spike on top of that coming through just behind, so definitely missing a little bit of that coordination on the side of 2G on the space they wanted to create.
The patented Josh RT fist bump for a round win. But yeah, you're right, there needs to be a little more coordination there with 2G when they're activating. Oh, well maybe they can coordinate off of this. Eyes now inside sight, behind enemy lines, but no one there quick enough to activate just yet. That dimensional drift about to run out. It's going to be a solo play here from Spike, and it almost gets 2. But Valen's now in a tight spot, quickly getting help from Jonah P as they enter the site. The Dastardly duo doing what they can to just drop people left and right. They're falling themselves, though, on the side of G2.
Now a kill contract as well. Should be an easy plant out for 2G. There was great stall in the very beginning on the side of G2, but the rest of the team finally followed. All you had to do was wait for the Razor Vine to dissipate on the side of Jonah P, and as they did that, you saw the flash finally come out. Spike finally comes out of his ult too, and then they have perfect positions to trade towards the end. So lacking a little bit here for G2 on answers outside of Dimensional Drift. Look at that position, just out angles, easy done.
Turn up the heat accordingly, right? Get in there with dimensional drift, have everybody just flying in behind that. Even on the delay of the vines, not too much of a problem. It's just the teamwork made the dream work on that one. Goes up for the drone, doesn't see anything. They deactivate really quick so they can get themselves into a position to start fighting here. But now they actually have to deal with Jonah P's ultimate, forcing the hand of everybody to move towards long A safe.
Silence has a kill contract. This should be easy to open up here, the A site, if they still want to commit into this. But they have wasted a lot of util in the very beginning, which was all heard by Jonah P. So we have to slow the tempo now on the attack. This camera is just still trying to create noise to make G2 think that there's still lurk in positioning coming on that side. You're starting to see it. Look at how they move. They avoid this Prowler. You still have the kill contract out from Silence. They might try to pull this rotate across from the ult and then start walking into the C site.
That's the only site that doesn't have util. I mean, you can see Jonah, I'm sorry, Jonah, Baby Bay putting the Vice util everywhere. So it just becomes hard for 2G. But now they actually go back towards it. They go back to the majority here after not really finding too much across the map, right? There's a bit of a adventure from Spike to create noise. But that's already checked out now by the side of Trent, so they know it's fake. Paranoia is flying through. Double taps on. Silence looking to make a play here, but he's got to get through a little bit of smoke to do it and find who's outside this. They are just spamming inside now. Steel Garden goes down to just tear the weapons now away. And 2G is not able to answer. Still jammed on the members. Now they finally come back up with the weapons, but they haven't done the dance enough around the smoke here from Jonah P. And it's only going to be Gobert left. He gets a shot, another flick kill on him, and he tries to enter with the classic, trying to get the pace of that to work in his favor. But who is ready? It's Jonah P to stand tall in his ultimate.
And the man that stayed in his ultimate from the very beginning of the round stays alive in it towards the end as well. And that is a lack of coordination on G2's side. I really thought you were going to try to use a kill contract to at least open up that side of the sewers. By not using it on that side, it makes it very difficult for Gobert to move through and for anybody else to split with them on top of that. When he used it, it was trying to open up against Valen, but he already lost that fight. I think that was against Silence in the very beginning, or Spike rather in the very beginning. But yeah, that was unfortunate on that side of 2G. They had a great idea, though. When we mentioned that hit towards that garage, it ended up being a fake towards the end, and they called the audio to move towards that A site. But it was just lacking, again, utility to really open up that site. Imagine if that pit was gone. I think things would have been a lot easier for 2G to scale into the site with. Now this timeout being called on the side of the attack once again. I don't really think even G2 used one throughout the whole series yet, so they've been quite comfortable in their game plan so far. And for FaZe War right now is potentially at this point, maybe you want to start disrespecting here this Viper wall in the side of middle. They've been pretty good here at baiting utility on that side of the B site, although lacking to bait util into the garage. You see sometimes in these setups here from this side of Baby Bay, the Razor Vines and the Flash is always really up in the garage when he sets it, so 2G really have to do a better job right now of manipulating these 3 sites on this map, which they haven't really done so far.
And I feel like 2G made it pretty far on that last A hit, focusing most of that Vise util now over towards A to stay, with the rest of the map covered by more of the agents, rest of the team. Now it's kind of 3 hovering B, 2 on B, 1 garage for that rotation towards C mid if they need to get anything on this one. What do they... Oh. Okay. I mean, the Sheriff's usually working pretty good here for 2G. It seems like they slow it down a little bit more, use that buddy system, and are taking less peaks that would really put them in a disadvantageous situation.
Definitely the pistols are really good against EG so far. Good on this opening.
Exactly where you are.
So Hero Guardian becomes now information as he ult on that body.
Well, Baby Bay goes for all the util to activate right now, so they just have to take a breath right on the side of 2G, and they walk in the spike right behind the duelist. Baby Bay is lurking though. The Judge could do a lot of damage, but he gets flashed right at the last moment from Spike, from the rest of the squad, now able to come in and set up some defense for 2G.
That beautiful flash. Rendering it difficult now for G2 to get the retake. I don't even think it can use the Nightfall anymore because right now Jonah is being blocked off by a trip. Yeah, this might be just a save towards the end. Very hard to do here with losing all those players in the very beginning on that front B site. So what was supposed to be disrespect this Viper wall in their gun rounds for 2G becomes that type of play on an eco. And it works out, pays dividends. You get so much information after that pick and the ult being thrown here by Gobera that it becomes a free plant and a free round.
In 2G, they run this all the time, right? We'll see we'll see a lot of hero rifles. It'll go across different people. I think one of the ones that works best is with Gobera because he also buys a Guardian. The lower buys to recoup some great guns as he goes down. Caster Curse. But yeah, it just works out really well if you're looking for the most investment in one of the ways that they do it. But there's a lot of times we'll see 2G happy to have a rifle on one and Sheriffs on the other, and they do a lot of damage. Whether it's the round win or not, they drop their opponent to make that cost.
Ran out. What a flop.
See Baby Bay still trying to play a bit of that solo anchor role for some moments here behind his utility. I'm sure it's in line with what the team wants, but 2G may be figuring that out a bit. Might want to punish it if they can find him again. This time in B though, so it's not going to be a constant thing. That?
Yeah, the attempt was there. Go for the aggressive pop flash right through the Viper wall and trying to just get players in position, but beautiful flash being set up here once again. Just G2 displaying different types of setups on their defensive side, either it be on Ascent or now on Haven. BBB gets full value out of that flash, and Jaw gets a pick. That's one player down, and you fold into the next page. No more mid control. A split towards the A site. Free kill.
Not giving G2 enough credit in these situations that they'll be ready, that they'll be patient to keep those forward defensive spots. And already the push coming through here, Jonah, Baby Bay. It's in a pretty scary flank.
Who else?
Kills still. Okay, they're going to pressure it. That's going to be a Stinger getting a little upgrade as he moves his way through the map. Baby Bay is now going to be closing in on that last member of Spike. The Valens forced to fight inside. They have Spike, so they really don't need to move back towards anything else.
They also cannot give them one-on-ones though like that.
Spike is also Spike, and he is doing a thing right now as he starts to move towards the objective.
I go to Spike.
15's going to have to move quick, but thankfully Jonah's in a great spot.
Bang, bang. That's the technical term for that. He goes down. Jonah again there as a savior for the moment to get G2 another round. 6-3 here. I mean, another 3 from 2G, and we'll have another half of 6-6 from map to map. But they have to pick up something. I think the slow work, kind of touch and go, really worked out for them and got G2 slightly antsy enough.
3 down by 76.
Time to jump.
Yeah, at least if anything from the fast tempo from the previous round, they started identifying how Valen's currently playing this sewer smoke. Not really giving himself a sight smoke, but it's an aggressive smoke right here at this spot.
Yeah.
We got value off that pick off the lurk from Gobera. Loves to play the aggressive angles on his defensive side. It's a high-low. He's just crouched in front of Trent. Now you're starting to see here, finally when you're trying to break that util towards that garage. The wall is still up towards B. This might be the next step now for 2G.
That was pretty telling. The Prowler just went long to see nothing, and only Yoru bottom mid. So you can already see they're not buying it. Valen's already backing up to the site to make sure they have a little pressure. They'll check one more time and probably make a move up long now to create and gain that space. Beautifully played there at A. And now 2G haven't been doing anything in mid. They're still waiting for G2 to peak. They got to get this activation in soon. There it is. There it is. Prize unwrapping one, but Jogmo unwraps 2 as Valen gets his own. Oh, it falls apart so quick, Vansili.
It looked so good to start. 2G getting great openers into the garage. But just a slight overcook when they saw this control that they had and map control towards C. They called for the rotate back on that side, and the swing coming through from the front B side really makes it difficult. Thankfully, though, Spike is still up and gives a chance here for Prize to at least get a plant. Because he's actually far away from the last few players of G2. I made that even 3, rather. I didn't even say that Jogmo's still alive towards A Heaven as well.
This will definitely help. Like you said, money in the pocket here. Drop a few guns would be even better. Gets the tag on him, so trailed all the way through this by the Fade Nightfall. It's going to be tough to find a hiding spot.
Yeah. G2's running up here because Prize is deafened. And now the gap's been closed.
And they're waiting for each other, too. Okay, now swing. Everybody one time. No mistakes. Not playing with their food this time as they just want that. And it's going to go to Trent. He just used the ult, but they want it back.
The read at the beginning for 2G was quite nice, though. They engage into the garage. They heard the judge being shot by Baby Bay. Baby Bay goes for the reposition right at the same spot, and you just spray into the garage doors, and Spike gets that kill. So good reads on them to open up that side, and then that happens, unfortunately.
Shorter, I can just end it, right? Just toss.
Yeah, Dead, right? You can just
Yes.
talk.
Everyone agrees. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
At least 10 out of 10 on a defense for G2 so far.
3 more away from that. Sheriff here for the side of Gobera. They're still kind of low buying in to make sure they can squeeze in some of these buys while still getting their full gun rounds in. Hopefully not shy on any util.
Okay. Decoy also starting off the wall in this garage side.
Hello.
Cutting through.
Corners can be like that when you don't check them. And it looks like that's one of the first times they actually were able to insert in that corner. So, you know, why would 2G be kind of worried about it? It's an always have to worry against G2 kind of thing.
And that's the difference here against G2. Just remember that first map when you're playing an off-angle inside wine after like 8 rounds on the defense for 2G. It's still being cleared by Valen. So that's just a lack here of trying to find that information and identifying these positions that players could be at. Valen doesn't even care here about being hit by the vulnerable. And Prize once again on the 1v4. Cannot get the single pick there onto that one player in the front.
Yeah.
Last round before the switch.
Pulling away finally in the last 3 rounds here.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, seems to be just G2 in full control of this map. I was just going to mention breaking that wall in the first place with the decoy could actually be quite nice because he had potentially ways to close that gap on the A side from the fake from the garage because that kill contract was still up. But they didn't check the corner to lose 2 players in the process, and any type of momentum they wanted to build into the A side hit.
Oh. Almost trying to play off the flash. He's going from all around the map. Oh my gosh. Dimensional Drift trying to give the Hunter's Fury a place to shoot. Eyes in the sky, if you will, as the kill contract comes out here. We finally get to see how this happens through the wall instantly. Could have had a Valen there with a double tap up. No worries if he did get hit. And this is a quick final round here. It seems like 2G kind of brushed off the pressure of this 5-round gap and played what they wanted to. It felt good onto Garage, and they pushed through. They work really well behind the Dimensional Drift. It's just, it doesn't have to be that every time, right?
It's unlucky because BBB got caught in the crossfire. He's still trying to hunt this Fury against Valen, and he runs right in front of him. This looks to be a sealed deal now for 2G for the last round.
Time to jump. You're done.
Last few kills from Jogamo. They look for the spike here, but LZ is able to get one. There's another one onto Trent. They cannot get through the 3 members of 2G. That's 4 on the attacker side as they now move to defense, and it's going to get only tougher from here as G2 are going to have reign over that attack side of the map.
That's the thing, just a little bit unfortunate events there coming out for 2G side. Yes, salvaging 4 rounds at least, but end of the day, it's still G2 showing that they still have full control of this series. And 2G, they have to come up with something here.
And before our next half, we're going to throw it over to Dryad, who's at the watch party booth with a very special guest.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Eugen, who I heard you're a little bit of a variety streamer, but I also heard that you've been here a few times to the Riot Games Arena, so what keeps you coming back?
I just think that it's really fun to feel like the energy of the crowd compared to just watching the games at home. So whenever I do get invited, I'm just like, heck yes.
From the few times that you've been here, what fans do you think are the craziest that are always so energetic?
I think Sentinels. Like, I think the crowd is always biggest and most hype whenever Sentinels is playing.
And I also heard that you're an Astra main. I'm a Reyna main, like big main, you know? So for Astra, do you have any tips for the audience?
No, I peaked Diamond. I don't think I have like any liberties to tell people how to play or what to play.
Okay, just playing the Astra, having fun. That's great. And also for this series specifically, with the 2 Ascension teams, do you have any predictions? What? I mean, it seems like it's a bit one-sided, but what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the popular choice of G2 probably winning it, taking it home.
All right, it does seem like that's gonna be the case. Thank you so much, Eugen, for joining us. Can we hear for Eugen in the audience? Thank you guys so much. We're gonna toss it back to the casters.
Thank you, March, Eugen, and Dryad. And Diamond's nothing to scoff at there. I'm sure a lot of people out there looking for tips.
Is that still a 0.1% of the audience?
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. Definitely. I'll take those smokes any day. All right, we are going into game now with 2G, G2. We do have double controller on this one for G2, so they're enjoying the smokes, just no Astra.
Yeah, and the good thing about this matchup at least is the preparation here that FaZe could bring for this matchup against G2, because this wall that's currently being tossed up here by Jonah P is something that was signature on their side too since the early days of Challengers. This time around, you're looking at this matchup though, on the pistol, 2G are actually investing into 4 ghosts. LZ going for double smokes, paranoia, and armor to help out the team on these fights. But they're definitely looking to disrespect here the utility to start things off on G2's slow pace because of the Viper Lurk potential now over on their attack side.
Let's see that. Just get disrespectful. Get up there. Smeeg the Smeeg himself, right? How do you beat Smeeg? Is it with Smeeg? Is the question. Spike's going to try here to just stop that right in his tracks. He's going to regain that health off the C's decay, so not too big of a problem there, but I'd say that's a good start.
Definitely. They have player advantage on top of that, but the flash has been used right away here for LZ for that fight into the garage area. So it gives a chance now for G2 death falling into the A site.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like it's theirs. It's full retake. A lot of good utility to come back in with the Sova.
So Jonah just went for the lineup here outside of A-Long just to slow things down with the poison orb being thrown towards that spawn.
Yep,
now you cycle these smokes, make it a lot more difficult for 2G to retake.
They're trying to hide in it. They're actually going to eat a flash right inside, too. All of them try to turn that, so it's going to delay even more. Now they get the gas in the phase, too. Exactly what you were talking about. Just the layering of annoyance here by smokes, by coverage, and the ability to not find your target. Forcing now Prize to jump out. Valen's going to find 3, but he runs out of bullets. Not the extended clip he wanted.
One enemy remaining.
Prize and Trent We're not down to a 1v1 just yet, but Trent's able to get that without the help of Jonah P, who was just creeping back on the long side. And Valen very proud of his team in that situation to keep it going.
Yeah, when you look at it for G2, it was very annoying to deal against here for 2G side. You've just mentioned it, smoke after smoke from flash to flash. A little bit of an overheat coming out from Joggable, but thankfully you have Valen right here with the trip kill. 18-8 on this map. The Des talked about him having a life gain. And that was like kind of like the win con to keep the series quite close against Sentinels. Well, it's Valen having another great game. Now also leading a charge for G2's victory against 2G.
The deadlift becomes a power lift. He's just absolutely wild in these past series here for the team. And right back into the site. I mean, it looks like we just started from inside the site last round here with the speed that G2 is trying to work. Flashes are up, but even when they're flashed, they're still pushing forward. They're adding just people to the mix, making it difficult even if someone does peek to get those targets in. They're all on the same page for these plays, and it looks fantastic.
And we had great value in the very beginning from the recon guard on the defense. They just weren't quick enough to set up against G2's just plow with the stinger buy. On top of that, you have a stinger buy from winning the pistol too, so you have utility on top of that to stack with, a lot more util on the attack to just not give a chance here for the Brazilian team to hold a defensive line.
And they're so, like everybody is, but they're so happy. Valen as well to keep that stinger for an extended period. Now into this round, the other, so much money saved up because they have that. But now it's up to them to create those close quarter situations that you were talking about before. Get the return on that stinger as much as possible. See if G2 can prevent that from happening as they start long and play long from just about every distance here.
It won't be as easy here for G2 to get value to close that gap with the stinger buy. Remember, when they're getting a lot of good value out of this is because they're playing, for example, Breach Teo in the past, allowing here Joggamo to gain some space. So you're seeing the difference, playing more of a death ball. Two players following behind Joggamo, TP's into the site, and now here's the battle coming through.
All the way back to the right side of Logs, gets the bite down, and actually a bit of damage to follow up through that as the kills are trading into sight. 2-2, and now it's just Jonah P. After the swarm of 2G hits the site, Jonah gets a stinger through the smoke, goes for the classic jump around the right side, but Prize locks it down, and it's not going to be enough.
Professor thought that his last opponent was trying to close that gap after he got his first pick. You see on the other end, Prize stayed very patient out in the open and making sure that he plays a distance against that close range stinger, potentially even a right-click classic. Jonah P runs right into it and dies. But that is some heavy damage being done on the econ for 2G. Losing this round here for 2G would put the attack side at 11 and a broken econ for the defense. So they have to win this round very cleanly for 2G. It's not with aggression, it's with information. Recon to start things off, not being broken up, so they know now that G2 is kind of leaning towards mid, which is why you see the instant TP away from Spike to support now the B-Slide Garage lead.
Trent finds the ISO. They know exactly where Silence is now. Depends on how much they've seen around the ISO and if they've actually seen Spike and Silence doing this buddy system walk around as LZ gets the Guardian to sing, starting off onto Joggamo for a very important round here.
Yeah. Jaw once again in these scenarios where he dies and he's putting G2 in a position where they have to work as a group once again. And it works out. Counter lurk, one, a push up towards front B. Beautiful trades. G2 now somehow in a lead in terms of numbers.
Jonah. Jeez. Sees it, sets it up, knocks it down. Just the 1-2-3 here in G2's instances. Now it's just going to be Gobera keeping himself safe.
Probably keeping his gun.
Yeah.
So we talked about the broken econ. I mean, thankfully, silver lining is, if you remember the first half, you had a similar scenario. Gobera with a hero rifle, couple of shares across the board, classics, and they were able to win that round and convert it on the side with an opener from Gobera. Now it's going to be a little bit different because they can't dictate the pace. It's G2 now working on the attack side. Again, this is an opportunity for the attack to be pretty much at 12. Unless a miracle happens here on the side of 2G on the defense.
And another round there for G2. quite a few alive as well as they bolster the money. They get closer to 13. And now I think 2G is kind of out of options. They have things to run, but they've been figured out by G2. The options are there. It's just which ones can they vary and spice up here to throw G2 off that don't just consist of that dimensional drift. A timeout will come in. See if they can set up that aggression that gets them a few more rounds here and throws G2 off.
Yeah, it's a very important timeout being called here by Phasor. Of course, this would put them at a deficit where G2 could just clean it up on a 2-0 clean win. But once we get back into the game, you'll notice here, chat, that we are basically 1 away from 3 ults being Dimensional Drift, Kill Contract, and also the Omen ult. If not, if it comes down to maybe Prize 2 away from his Hunter's Fury. This might be one of those calls where they have to add that pressure to fight control into A main so that they could potentially get good value off the Jonah P lurk. And if there's nobody fighting back here on the side of G2, well, at least you have that kill contract and a dimensional drift that you could pick up and utilize that into the later rounds. So I think that might have to be the Hail Mary for the side of G2 to stay alive within this round. And look at how they're rotated across here at the beginning. 3 of them already moving towards this A side, maybe even a TP being set up for a fast rotate from Spike over to the C site. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's 4 players on a 4-1 setup on that side of 2G.
With that gate crash towards the other side of the map, they are going for, just like you asked for.
Yeah, they have and sorry, they have everything else on the B side and C side to really get information for the side of Cobera.
Trent right down long, somehow separated from 3 that could have been peeking. Probably some util also going off, so not all guns out here, but that's 2. And the action long starts to initiate as well. Silence coming up with 1, but he's going to be low on this. So is Jonah P, but Jonah still wants to fight. Nabs off the double tap as well, I believe, on Silence. So they should be good to go here. And that's going to wear out. He won't be able to activate another orb either.
But this might be a round where you still want to invest here on the side of Silence. The clock continues to run down. You have an opportunity to even isolate a 1v1 and then go for a 2v2 retake. Unfortunately for Spike, yes, he's able to get the dimensional drift, but that's after he gets picked off there by Trent. Whereas you've mentioned here, Riv, the counter-aggression coming out from G2, knowing the win con for 2G on that previous round, or in this round rather, they just wanted to fight toe-to-toe. Wanted to show that they could brawl just like 2G. But the more that you're racing down this clock, again, an opportunity here for for Silence to play the 1v1 into the Gulag.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, once that plant comes down, it might be the hit. G2 knows they're out of sight. Less than 20 seconds. Nobody's going to be silly enough to play an angle, right? Right? No, right. They're out. And it's going to be that plant. Here it goes. All right. He's got Jonah P. He's been hot all game. Can Silence do it again? Yes, he can. That's going to be a spike plant, though, as he comes back in. It was Gobera waiting just a moment for his teammate to get back in for the 2v2.
Yep, wall to scale and even a double tap after coming out of that Gulag, but it's slowed down by Razor Vines.
The drop to his left. The drop to his left. He hits the box. They weren't expecting it. It didn't make the full sound of breaking his own ankles. That's 1 from Valen. The leader to put him on the final point. Valen doesn't miss a beat. Locks in the Red Bull clutch for G2.
Continues to shine for G2 is the IGL. On the side of Valen, now dropping 21. Over a 20 bomb into that one, and that 2v2, I mean, it worked into perfection for 2G to isolate that fight towards Hell. But it's Valen leveraging the util out from Omen 2. Fake TP, swings out for the 1v1.
Let's go, Jay! You're
puts
him,
G2 at map and series point.
And you got to be considering these are not rounds that G2 should be winning. That's a 2v1. Just the way he played it, yes, they can be won. It's not super bad, but G2 has done it multiple times to add up to super bad now, right? They have just won so many rounds in the end there that they probably should have lost, and that's why G2 continues to be G2 12-5 now here in the second map.
My copium is that Superbad is a good movie, so that 2G maybe could turn things around now in their mix bags of tricks. Hunter's Fury, and also the ult available here from the Dimensional Drift. This is a perfect opportunity to play a la G2 where you can combine these 2 ults. But you are playing a very forward position on the side of Prize, and Spike's just going on a little bit of a stroll. Never expected the lurk here, the position from Trent outside of Garage, and that combo is going to be gone.
My ultimate is ready.
Jonah, rest of the team squeeze in here to add what could be the final pressure points onto this match versus 2G. Gobert again with the Guardian. Comes up big, gets a ping, but they both jump out safe. Oh, he's trying to go off the residual pings from the ultimate. It's just not delivering enough info in time. And now they're set up to drop into the site. A little pain all around on these health bars, but G2 still stands a member up.
Now you have no choice but to drop down heaven to get the most value. Being watched now, long range, easily done.
G2, 3 kills in an instant when you think the play had a little bit more to go, but that's been the story of this game. You think they had a little bit more, but G2 act on it immediately and take everything away. That's the series in 2 as G2 take down 2G.
Still some smiles coming across here for 2G despite the loss. They still had a lot of these rounds where it came down to chaos, where almost they could have taken the upper hand. But just as you mentioned at the end of that first map, it was a lot of the macro that was kind of missing here for 2G side. But fighting toe-to-toe, they definitely have the firepower on the side of the Brazilian squad. For G2, this was an easy win in their book, and on the top of that, something that they wanted. They wanted to start winning right away going into week 2. Valen mentioned having Baby Bay coming in as a sub. Week 1, you're opening things up against a tough team like Sentinels. You're just kind of like easing in Baby Bay into a tough match, but then the rest of the strength of the schedule should allow for them to go for that playoff run that they wanted.
Man, they can ease Baby Bay into the match, but Valen is climbing mountains right now. He's like, man, you can ease in, don't worry. I'm gonna carry this giant brick backpack only because I want to get stronger, not even because I have to. Like, this is insane stuff here coming in.